Namaste, everyone. This is psychic channel and medium Jill M. Jackson, and I join you today with my September 2024 predictions and energy update. Before I dive into the energy around September, let me just talk about a couple of past predictions that have come to fruition. And some of the predictions I have done on my TikTok channel and some here on the YouTube channel. So I'm not sure where some of these were predicted, but I had predicted an earthquake of a magnitude over a 7.0, and Russia ended up having a 7.4 earthquake not long after I had made that prediction. Thankfully, there wasn't too much injury and things around that, so that was really positive. And then I had made a prediction around, I felt danger around the DNC. And I just told everybody to use their own intuition if they wanted to go. I had felt explosive kind of energy. So thankfully, that did not manifest as actual explosions. It manifested, there were a lot of protest, and some of it did turn violent. There were some people injured. And then there was also people had put maggots into the breakfast of some people who had some of the delegates for the DNC. So there were some injuries around that as well. So that prediction came to fruition. Thankfully, there were no deaths around any of this energy. I'm gonna go ahead and I remember predicting a lot of chaotic energy as well for the month of August. There continues to be a lot of violent protest, sadly, in areas of Europe. And so I want to get into the September predictions, and I actually want to start there with areas of Europe. Some of you in the comments have asked me to make some predictions around Europe as well. And sadly, I see more of the same, a lot of demonstrations, a lot of angry mobs, and the areas that this is playing out in around the globe right now are happening in those places and cities that tend to have a lower vibrational frequency energy. The way energy works is when the collective energy reaches over 50% being an energy of positive energy, then that actually shifts the vibration of the actual towns and cities. It's why you can go to places like Glastonbury and places in Costa Rica and places in Portugal right now that are not experiencing conflict because you have more percentage of the people who have chosen to reside there who have a higher vibrational frequency, who are rooted in the energy of unity and love rather than being in the energy of hate, division, and separation. So we're going to see more of that playing out. And people, I see migrations of people. I see higher vibrational individuals choosing to relocate and move away from these places that are having these kind of mob mentality, if you will. And sadly, I see a rise of mob and angry division and separation with people of color, a lot of racist energy. And sadly, I see that continuing in certainly in the UK, in certain areas, and certainly continuing in Ireland. Um, and interesting, I'm hearing Spirit say right now in places in Germany, I feel like that's going to begin playing out as well. We as humanity are in a tremendous shift right now. We are breaking down old paradigms, and this is why it seems like utter chaos on many places on our planet. So let me also dive into a prediction starting in around September, specifically after September 15th. I am recommending that even my clients don't make a physical move in them if at all possible. And I know some of you don't have a, chance to not move due to a job or a relationship or something like that. But if you have a choice and you can choose not to make a physical move, I am recommending not to make any physical moves until after November. So certainly the months of September and October don't feel like good times to make huge decisions about where you would want to move. Because what Spirit has shown me is that, again, going back to the energetic signature and vibration of certain cities, Spirit has shown me that there are places that are going to be shifting rapidly. And some of those places are going to be changing that you would not have thought about before, that they would be cities that will have violent mobs coming through and wreaking a lot of havoc and a lot of violence. And so my spirit guides have recommended that we just kind of stay put, especially, after September 15th for a little bit, because the energy feels very volatile. And on the flip side of that, there are going to be migrations of people who are moving to areas who have a high vibrational frequency, and that is going to lift the vibration of that particular city, and it's going to almost create like an anchor of peace and safety for some of the protest and violence that I see and am predicting coming up in the future. Okay, so that's one thing I wanted to touch on around September. The other thing is I am really recommending not moving to coastal areas, and especially on the East Coast of the United States, and especially around the Gulf of Mexico, because what I'm seeing is a lot of not only hurricanes, but I'm also seeing a lot of wind activity that is not normal so much for those areas. I'm seeing a lot of erosion happening where it's not going to be safe over the next even few months, going into the next few years, to live in certain coastal areas. So I'm not saying this to create fear. I'm certainly not. It's more of an awareness. And having said that, tune into your own intuitive guidance. If you are being guided to move to an area on the coast, then by all means listen to your own intuition over what any psychic or channel or medium says, because obviously there are going to be certain areas along the coast that will not be affected as much by what I am seeing. I'm seeing a lot of change in the coast of North Carolina, specifically in certain areas in Georgia. But again, going back to the Gulf of Mexico, I am seeing some storms and hurricanes creating a lot of wind damage. But on top of the hurricanes, I'm just seeing hurricane force winds and tornado-like winds coming in and flooding in areas that have never before seen flooding, and that is on these coastal areas. So I would really invite you to tune in if you are thinking about moving there. And if you already are living there and you are being guided to make a move, then I would listen to that as well. I'm seeing some wind and storms continuing to come again on the coast of Florida, more on the Gulf side, and then more on the area of Mississippi, Alabama, and the Gulf Coast of Florida. Spirit is now highlighting an area in Louisiana as well with some severe flooding. So let's send energy to that as well. But I'm seeing tornadoes in areas that are not used to tornadoes, and I'm seeing earthquake activity in areas that are not, traditionally known for earthquake activity. And areas of New York are highlighting for me of earthquake activity. I am still feeling a lot of movement around the new Madrid plate. Some of you have asked in the comments, what is the new Madrid? It is the fault line that goes close to the Mississippi River and Missouri, Ohio, some areas of Tennessee, and then some areas of Mississippi would be affected by this. I'm feeling a lot of rumbling, if you will, creating a large potential for a new Madrid earthquake, a very large one. I'm sensing when this happens, it's going to be definitely over a 7.2 and potentially even up to an 8.0 magnitude. I am feeling energy around California with this as well, with the San Andreas fault. I feel energy building around an earthquake. The fault lines are shifting. Again, tune into your own intuition and just know that part of the transformation that we are in involves Mother Earth shifting her energy as well. These are cycles that our planet has gone through epochs of time, and it's a cycle that we are currently in right now. So there's a lot of transformation energetically. The reason we are seeing so much chaos is because we are in the times of crumbling the old paradigm, crumbling of the structures that no longer work. The structures such as the powers that were, the 1%, if you will, those who rule everything, the mass media, the pharmaceutical industry, banking, all of that is going to be changing and crumbling. And it feels chaotic when this happens. But we must collapse everything for the new paradigm, for the new earth to be anchored in. And that's the energy that we're in right now. Going back to more predictions around the US election, I'm going to talk a few minutes around the energy of former President Donald J. Trump. Okay, we're just going to call him DJT. I feel health challenges with him. I feel blood pressure issues, and I feel more of instances of the cognitive and the mental decline. We're going to see more and more witnessing of that, just as we did with President Biden, where there were instances, and it ebbed and flowed, it wasn't all the time, there were instances with President Biden that we would witness cognitive decline where some of the sentences didn't flow or didn't quite make sense. We are going to continue, we're already witnessing that with former President Trump. That is going to become more and more noticeable, because what Spirit has shown me going on is there's issues with the blood flow. I'm feeling heart issues. There's a potential for a heart attack, and this may even happen at a public event, but I'm seeing, Spirit has shown me that it's affecting the cognitive ability to communicate. So during the month of September, I'm predicting that we are going to witness more of this. And I also feel like it's going to play out in episodes of tantrums. There's going to be energy around him where you see him in behaving ways. Again, Spirit shows me like a 2-year-old or 3-year-old tantrum. So please don't comment on my videos below that, this is not happening, and, this is a political video. I'm reading energy, and I'm reading the energetic signature of what I'm seeing happening here. So we will witness this more and more. And again, I do see health challenges around him. I see health challenges around President Biden as well. Both of these men could really benefit from prayers around health challenges, because I do see this playing out. And another prediction around former President DJT is I do see another assassination attempt. I don't feel that this will be successful. I feel it's going to be another failed attempt around him. I'm not getting complete timing on that. This feels more October timeframe. But again, sometimes timing is challenging. So I do feel danger around him, but I actually feel more danger around the health challenges that he is going through. And we all have free will, and depending on his free will choices, when these health challenges come into fruition, there's a potential for him to even not be able to be on the ballot. I see scrambling. I'm seeing discussions around that, just as there were discussions with the Democratic Party and President Biden removing himself from the ballot. I see a strong potential coming up for that as well. And again, that is dependent on these health challenges that I see coming up for him and how severe they are. All right. Another prediction is I feel that there is a time period before January where President Biden actually steps aside, and I see Vice President Kamala Harris being sworn in as the first female president. I do see that happening. I've made that prediction on my TikTok account, and I do see a very strong percentage of that. I would give that a 90% probability of coming into fruition. That seems to be in the month of September or October. Again, I may be off a little bit on the timing, but this feels like a very, very strong potential, because I feel a decline in President Biden's health, and I feel that it will be determined that it's necessary for Vice President Harris to be sworn in as president. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the election of November 5th. I still feel complete chaos around the election. I am still getting that we will not know the outcome of the election, possibly until uh, December or January. Like, it feels very chaotic. I It's very close as well with the popular vote. I do still see Vice President Harris barely winning the popular vote. Um, but and I see um, people, saying that there is corruption around it. Um, I do feel some corruption around the election, and potentially on, both sides, if you will. I do see conflict around that, but I am predicting that two previously red to purple states are flipping blue. I am seeing that. I'm feeling Georgia is one of them, and potential for North Carolina, and a potential for Florida. Um, Again, I'm feeling at least two previously red to purple states flipping blue. Um, but again, chaos. I am also feeling that there are pockets of angry mobs, if you will. It's happening already. I predicted this January or February. Sadly, it's already playing out in places like Chattanooga, places in Tennessee, where white uh, Christian nationalist hate groups are marching. And I feel that that is sadly going to not only continue, but grow in other areas as well. And I feel um, that there are uh, people of color who are afraid. And then I also see some people of color who begin standing up against these hate groups. So I just see clashes, and there's no purpose in these hate groups. There's no purpose in marching for white supremacy. A lot of these MAGA groups, not Republicans. I'm not saying that this is a Republican um, issue, but it's a lot of the MAGA, it's a lot of the extreme groups that are the, again, white Christian nationalists that are forming these hate groups. A lot of the ones that are preaching about white supremacy. And I am seeing a lot of chaos and violence and danger around that. So my recommendation is, if you see that going on, don't give it any energy. Stay home. Don't go out and protest. I just don't see anything good coming from this. And my prayer is that some of these lawmakers will start banning this. There's a difference between peacefully protesting and freedom of speech. I'm certainly someone that believes in our constitutional freedom of speech. But when we are inciting violence and we are wearing masks, when we don't even have the courage to show our faces, and we march with torches, and we speak of hate and division, to me, that is creating an energy of violence. And I do not believe that that is our freedom of speech. And so energetically, sadly, in September and going into October, I see a lot more of that. So please join me in creating an energy of peace, creating an energy where we raise our vibrational frequency. I see some stock market fluctuations. I see a temporary rise in cryptocurrency, but I feel like that's going to crash again as well. So if you have invested in that, use your own intuition. Do feel it rising over the next couple of months. But with the stock market, I feel a lot of volatility. Now, I'm going to go now to, I was led to choose an oracle card to represent the energy of September. And the one that Spirit chose is called Shapeshifter. And I love the energy around this because what Spirit showed me the meaning of this is shapeshifter energy. We as humanity have free will choice of, do we want to create more division and hate and violence and low energy, not only for ourselves, but for our planet and the collective? Or do we want to choose, even amidst the chaos and the turmoil? And I'm not saying it's easy, because it creates a lot of triggers and wounds within us when we see this type of chaos and violence. But we have a choice. We have a choice to shape shift our energy and to hold the frequency of peace, even amidst the chaos. So I really invite you to join me in starting your day, shapeshift your energy, especially the last part of September, into an energy of unity, an energy of divinity. Let's remember our sovereignty. Okay, let's remember that. One more prediction that Spirit is reminding me of. I feel that there is another virus type coming in similar to COVID. I feel a lot of chaos around that. I do feel potential for more forced, we're going to call them the VX, because I don't want to get this video banned. I've had a dream about that. All full disclosure, I did not believe in the first, let's call it a shot. I need to come up with a term where I don't get my videos banned, but I was someone who was pretty vocal about that. If you don't agree with me, I respect your decision. I tell everybody go within. People were asking me what they should do. I always say go within, but my guides had told me that there was more medical issues coming from that than the virus itself. We can see that playing out now. Sadly, I do see another one coming, even a potential for another shutdown. Join me in creating energy that prediction does not come into fruition. And I really encourage you, if somebody tries to force something on you, and you have a choice to make with losing a job or doing something that everything in your body says, don't do this, it's not for your highest and best good. I encourage you to take your courage and maybe take that as an opportunity that it's time to change jobs, because we're sovereign beings. And just as my belief is that nobody has the right to tell a woman what she can or can't do with her body, I also feel like nobody has the right to tell us what we must inject, a chemical poison into our bodies. I don't even take pharmaceuticals. I keep myself healthy through supporting my immune system. Okay, so remember, we can shape shift, and then let me just kind of finalize the month of September with choosing 3 tarot cards. One has actually, they just jumped out here. Okay, so it's interesting because this one jumped out, and this was part of September as well. This represents the former president And again, I feel some health challenges and safety issues around him going into September. But it's a potential for some new beginnings. This is the Ace of Wands. So in the midst of the chaos, this is a really good time to create. This is the energy of creation. um, I was just a guest on Celestial Compass with Kathy Beal, and that airs September 16th. And she talks a lot about this in her astrology, that there's a lot of Piscean energy coming up. And so my guides are saying right now that this is a beautiful month to use our intuition, to learn to use our intuition. Um, if we choose that path, there is success and victory for us. Okay, we will be led to those who vibrate as we do. And there's a lot of success coming in the midst of the chaos. I see a lot of celebrations coming as well. And this is a message of you will be finding your soul tribe. You will be finding those, and even those who are being led to think about moving, you will be finding and leading yourself to those areas of high vibrational star seeds and light workers who believe like you do and who understand the meaning of unity. And I feel another prediction is more and more people are going to be moving to places of community. I see more and more people creating intentional communities. So if that is something that resonates for you, put that energy out there that you will be led to intentional communities, to join with other starseeds, other light workers. And along those lines, check out our High Vibe Tribe community. It's growing so rapidly. It makes my heart and my soul sing with joy to see how quickly this community is growing. And we have at least 3 live events every single month. We're more than likely going to be adding some more, but it's an opportunity. There's forums on there to connect with others and to talk about your own dreams and prophecies and predictions. So be sure to check that out. And if you want to learn to tune into your own intuition, I have an online school as well. And if you are a member of the High Vibe Tribe, you get a discount on the classes, the Intro to Intuition class, the Psychic Development class that everyone will benefit from, to help you tune in to your own intuitive compass during these pivotal changing times on Mother Earth. And I just want to remind you that we are powerful creators. We are powerful beyond measure. Remember that. Remember that when the chaos is happening around you, you have a choice to go through a lens of the fifth dimension. And speaking of that, let me just talk about my latest book quickly. This is Manifesting Your Magic in the 5D, Going Beyond the Laws of Attraction. I'm super excited for this book. It's available on Amazon, both with Kindle and print. And if you've read the book, thank you so much for those who have read the book and have provided reviews. There is a contest going on that if you will write me a review on Amazon and then share it on social media, you enter into a drawing to win a free reading with me. I will put information and details on that below, but check out that book. It helps us understand the spiritual laws of manifesting and how past lives and soul contracts play in as well. And I send each one of you so much love, so many blessings. Remember that we are all connected. We are all one. And I send you with so much love. Please comment below, and please share this video, and help us get the message out that even with all the predictions, that we can choose and co-create our reality of how all of this plays out in our lives and in our reality. Much love to each one of you. Namaste.